What exactly are the seat aids? How do we communicate with our horse through our seat? So I want to do a few things in this video. First, I want to define what I mean by the seat. Second, I want to talk about two main functions that I think of in seat aids. Now, this is part of a little series about the seat. You can also watch the other videos to learn about three main factors that affect having a good seat. And then you can watch about how our jaw, our tongue, and our face affect our seat. And today we're going to talk about these seat aids, kind of the communication through the seat. So first of all, to define the riding seat, I think of it more than just our butt in the saddle. I think of the riding seat as the old classic riding texts describe, that it's the fork of the seat, which means, yes, it's your butt in the saddle, it's your seat bones, it's your pelvis, but it's also the inside of the thighs. So we think about kind of a clothespin going on a clothesline, and that contact that we have with the saddle, that's what I think of as being the seat. So there's two main ways that we can communicate through our seat. The first and the main way is the degree to which we're allowing the horse's movement or to which we're kind of restricting or slowing down. I'm going to use a term here from Wendy Murdoch that I always remembered. And Wendy Murdoch is one of our instructors at horse class and has been a huge riding mentor for me. She talks about greasy hips. So if you think about your hip joint just getting really fluid and you're allowing movement there, this is when we want the horse to go faster or to go bigger. This is also sometimes described by instructors if you're rising the trot and they say focus on the up or post a little faster or think about going a little faster to let the horse go faster. Now there's a fine line between doing too much where we start scrubbing with our seat or trying to push the horse with our seat. We don't want to do that, but we allow the movement. We become really free in our hips, which allows the horse to move forward really easily. The opposite of that is if we put some resistance in our hip joints. And this also is that fine line, because it's not about tensing and locking up, because that's going to make us really unstable, but it's just like putting a little bit of drag in the motion. And I often help riders with this by putting my hand on their back, having them explore how they can expand their back muscles and how they can think about pushing slightly into my hand there, and then recreating that feeling when they're out riding through the different gaits. So that's allowing for more free forward movement and then restricting to half halt, to ask for downward transitions, and to limit a bit the movement. Now we also have the ability to give weight aids and give weight aids for steering or for lateral work. Now, anytime that we're using our pelvis, we always want to keep it level, meaning I never want to give a weight aid by doing something like this and putting more weight into one seat bone or the other. Because if I start making my pelvis unlevel, then I'm going to twist the horse's rib cage, which is going to not allow the horse to move very balanced and very even. So instead, what I want to do is I can take my pelvis and I can move my pelvis slightly to one side. So for example, if I want to step forward, but I want to step a little bit forward and to my left, I'm going to just slightly take my weight, which means my pelvis in my seat, but starting from my center in that direction. Now the same thing if I want to move back here. I'm not leaning like this, but I'm just taking my weight and then giving my other aids a little leg, a little rein, but it all starts with my center, which then affects my pelvis, keeping it level. So that's the weight aids, or the seat aids that I think of. There's the allowing and the restricting of the movement and the hip joints, and then there's changing the weight that's going to affect the horse's balance. Horses are generally going to want to stay under our weight, and that's going to affect which direction they're going and how they're moving. And we can have all kinds of layers of subtlety in that, from just I want to turn left or I want to turn right to I want to start doing more advanced lateral work. I hope you enjoyed this series on the seat. If you have any questions, put them below, and as always, Go to horseclass.com for many more free resources, and make sure you subscribe and check out those other videos on the seat if this topic interests you.